What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome to that time of year again. It's Premier League prediction time. I did this last year. Got a few things right, got a few things horribly wrong. I don't think anybody, apart from the odd crazy person, knew that Leicester were going to win the league. Tottenham did very well indeed as well. Chelsea had an absolute nightmare. It was a very topsy-turvy season. So here we go then. We're about to get right into the predictions. I'm going to go from the bottom three, then the mid-table, then the upper mid-table, then the top four. And without any further ado, here are the bottom three. These videos often bring times of hate in the comment section. I said Sunderland would go down last year. Obviously, I got it wrong, but I didn't get it wrong by much. There was only a couple of points in it. It was very, very close. But a lot of you said, you know, Sunderland were going to do amazing. So with that in mind, just bear in mind that this is my personal opinion and there's no need to go ham in the comments calling me a cunt just because I've said Hull, West Brom and Burnley are going to get relegated. Obviously, I'm probably going to be wrong here. At least one of those is going to be wrong. But let's just, for the time being anyway, pretend that I'm right. So, Hull going down straight away. They are actually the bookies' favourites to finish bottom of the league. I'm no bookie, but they are my favourites to finish bottom of the league as well. They haven't done an awful lot of strengthening in the window. They've only brought in a few players so far. They've lost their manager as well, who had a mental breakdown and not being picked for the England job. So, with that in mind, are they really going to be able to stay up? I don't think so. West Brom have been tickling the balls of relegation for quite a while now, and they're not really, again, doing anything in the market. I think they're on the verge of signing Sacco, to be fair, but apart from that, they're not really looking that good in the market. So I think West Brom are going to struggle. And Burnley, the second side to come up, I don't think, again, they're bookies' favourites to finish second from bottom, and again, my favourite to go down. It will be a close one between them and 17th place, but I think Burnley will just about slip into it and say bye-bye to their return to the Premier League. Unfortunately, though, because I'm not a massive fan of Burnley, but I do appreciate the way that they play football. Those three, though, my predictions to go down. And with that, here are my 17 to 10 predictions, sort of the mid-table, as it were. I think Sunderland will do it again this year. I think they will scrape the relegation battle, maybe again by another point or two, and that they will stay up. It's going to be very close between those teams down at the bottom there, but I think Sunderland will just have enough. New manager, I think he's going to look to bring in a couple of players as well. They haven't done anything in the window so far. I think Fellaini could be going there as well. Like, he's literally just trying to sign everyone who he used to have at his club, but we'll see exactly what happens there. Swansea are a side that worry me. Being Welsh, obviously I want to see them do well, but I've got a funny sneaking suspicion that they could be dragged into that battle because they don't have anyone up front at the moment. They've sold every single striker that they have. They seem to be looking to sell Ashley Williams as well. It's a very strange time for Swansea. I don't really know what's going to happen there, but hopefully they'll be okay. Bournemouth are going to have another strong season, I think. I don't think they're going to do amazing, but I don't think they're going to really be dragged into that battle either. I think they'll do reasonably well. Middlesbrough have had a very good pre-season with regards to results and with regards to signing players as well. They've made very good signings in key areas. I don't think they're going to do a Leicester and go on and win the league, but I think that they're going to do very, very well. 14th, very comfortable position for them. Watford, again, another team who I think have established themselves within the Premier League now, and I think that they're going to go on to have a strong season. Crystal Palace could do one or the other, really. They could either finish in 12th and have an okay season, or they could finish in 8th and have a fantastic season. It's one of those for Crystal Palace this year. It's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out. I think Stoke are going to have another solid year as well. Can they really build on last season's position? I'm not sure. I think 11th is probably where I see them. And of course, the big talking point here is going to be Leicester City. Honestly, I can see them finishing lower than this, but I've given them a solid 10. At the moment, they're keeping hold of Mahrez, they're keeping hold of Vardy, they're keeping hold of their other key players who helped them win the league last year, but I don't think it's quite going to be enough to finish in that top half of the league. Or they're saying that is 10, top half probably is, but I think 10 is pretty much where I see them finishing. A lot of you won't agree with me, and I get that, and I understand that, and that's cool. All you new Leicester fans who are jumping on that bandwagon, and old ones, of course. I appreciate that you think you're going to win the league again, or you're going to be in the top 4, but I just think the competition this season is going to be fierce. And speaking of which, we move into the top half of the Premier League, spots just before the Champions League places, and of course Everton lie there in 9th. What have Everton done in the window so far? They've brought in a new goalkeeper, Stecklenburg, not too bad at all. They've spent 7.1 million on Idrissa Gueye, I think that's how you say his name, from Aston Villa. They've sold, or rather released, a few players. Obviously Tim Howard has gone back to the MLS. Tony Hibbert is now, I think, probably retired. Leon Osman's left, Pinar, etc. But the big worry for Everton, of course, is losing Lukaku and John Stones. But they are reported to be getting Ashley Williams, so swings and roundabouts there in defence. But if they lose Lukaku, they could be in desperate trouble. Hopefully for them, they don't end up doing that. On to Southampton in 8th, the team who seem to sell like millions of pounds worth of players every season and then go on to improve their form, which they could do this year. They've sold Mane for 36 million, Wanyama for 11, and they've sold quite a few other players as well, or released them. Graziano Pelle, for instance, has also gone, and they've only really brought in 2 players of note, and that is Nathan Redmond and Alex McCarthy. So it's very interesting times for Southampton, but there is still plenty of time within the window for them to improve their squad. It's not all about transfers, of course, but seeing as how that's pretty much the only data as well as last season's results to go on, I think it's pretty much fair that we focus on the transfers. And West Ham have done reasonably well this window so far. They've got a brand new centre-back in the Norwegian Nordvik. I can't say that guy's name for love nor money. They've got a free transfer of Faguli, of course, formerly of Valencia. Really good signing there. They've got a couple of other players in there. They've made Lanzini a permanent transfer. They've got a lot of decent players within that squad now, and they are looking to improve. Obviously, the reports that they're going after Lacazette, etc. Time remains on those deals, of course, so we'd love to see what happens there. But I think West Ham are going to have a very, very solid season. They could easily finish top 4. That's how good they are at the moment, so we'll see what happens there. And now on to Liverpool. And as a Liverpool fan, I could spend hours talking about why Liverpool won't do that well this year, but we seem to have done what we normally do, and we've spent big money on mediocre players. We've spent 36 million on Mane. Don't get me wrong, decent player, been linked with several top-profile clubs throughout the years, but 36 million to me is just far too much money. And of course Wijnaldum from Newcastle as well, good signing, but for 25 million, for an extra 2 you could have got Mkhitaryan. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those. But again, having said that, Liverpool have offloaded a lot of dead weight, and they've gone out and bought, well, in theory they've strengthened. They've obviously got a goalkeeper crisis already with Karius breaking his hand, but I think Liverpool will do a solid next year. I think they'll have a good season. 6 I think is the highest we can hope for, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we can ride a wave or two and maybe even finish in that 5th position. But speaking of which, Tottenham Hotspur, a side that will be looking to build on last year's success. However, I don't think they'll manage to quite replicate what they did last year. They finished 2nd, of course, just behind champions Leicester. But this year they've done really well transfer-wise. They haven't really sold anyone of note. They've loaned Fazio to Roma, and that's pretty much the only big-name player that's going. They've actually brought in Vincent Janssen of AZ Alkmaar. Very good striker indeed. Still quite young as well. And, of course, they've signed Victor Wanyama of Southampton. So they've strengthened in key areas. They haven't lost any key players. Why are they not going to finish as high as they did last year? Because the top 4, the competition is crazy. The money flying around is insane. And that started with Arsenal, the team who've probably spent the least amount of the top 4 so far. 34 million on Xhaka, and they've released a couple of deadweight players. Flamini, Rosicky, Arteta's retired, of course. But Arsenal are, top 4 masters. They always finish in that top 4. They've done it for the last God knows how long, and I think they'll continue to do it as well. There's still plenty of time. They need a striker. If they get a striker, they can compete. But without that striker, it's just not going to happen, is it? Let's move on to Chelsea, who have a lot to prove this year. Let's be honest with each other. They had such a torrid time last year that this season is make or break for Chelsea. If they don't do well this time, will Abramovich really want to keep investing into a side that just don't seem to want to go after the Premier League title? They've obviously spent big already, 65 million, and that's only on 2 players, Batshuayi and Kante of Leicester. They've released a lot of dead weight. They've sold Salah to Roma for 12 million. They've sold a few other players, loaned them out as well. So everything's in position for Chelsea to do well this year. Batshuayi's a very good striker. They've managed to keep hold of the big names. Pre-season seems to be going very well for them. They obviously beat Milan the other day. They've already beaten Liverpool. Things are doing well, and I can see Chelsea finishing in that top 3. And now we come to this is going to be an insane battle. It really is. the two Manchester clubs have really gone ham in the window this year. Manchester United, I think, more so at the moment. They've obviously got Zlatan Ibrahimovic on a free. Everyone who isn't a Manchester United fan is saying how Zlatan is washed up and it's a bad deal and no one cares. But I'm a Liverpool fan, which means I hate Manchester United. Love Zlatan. He's going to be amazing. I just can't wait. I don't care who he plays for. He is going to do fantastic this year. Is he going to score 20, 30 goals? I don't know, maybe not. But I just can't wait to see him. I don't care who he plays for. It's just going to be amazing. They've obviously got Eric Bailly as well from Villarreal. 30 million. Is he worth that? Maybe not yet, but in the future, I think that's been a decent signing. Of course, the signing of the summer for anyone, I think Mkhitaryan for 26 million. Liverpool have gone out and spent 25 million on Wijnaldum. For an extra 1.3, they could have got Mkhitaryan. It's insane. That's a fantastic deal. Manchester United are going to improve big time. And of course, reports are that they are going to be getting Paul Pogba as well. If they can pull that off, they may just tip Manchester City to the title. But at the moment, I think the other side of Manchester will have the better of it. And my logic isn't exactly sound. The only reason why I think Manchester City will win the league this year is down to Pep Guardiola. Now, I don't like Pep Guardiola necessarily, and I don't think he's that good a manager, to be fair. I think he's walked into big clubs, made like 3 or 4 signings worth a few million, and job done. You've strengthened in key areas, bought 1 or 2 players, and you've won the league, and everybody thinks you're amazing. That's why I think he's going to win it. But because I don't rate him, he will win it, and my luck goes like that, basically. But having said that, they've obviously made some great signings. Gundogan, very good player. 21 million is a bargain, in my opinion. They've gone out and spent 37 million on Leroy Sané. That is a huge, not gamble necessarily. He's a very good player. He's a very young, 19, 20 years of age. But 37 million is a lot of money to spend on one player who is not necessarily unproven, but still kind of, you know. And they've got Nolito, one of my favourite players, 13.8 million. And they've just got Gabriel Jesus as well from Palmeiras for 27 million. They are spending big. Doesn't even look like they're done yet. Reports are that they are going after a few other players as well. They haven't really offloaded an awful lot of weight either, so who knows what's going to happen there. But no, it's going to be fierce at the top, but I think Manchester City at the moment will just about edge it, but it's going to be one hell of a Premier League ride. If I've put your club in a position where you honestly don't think it deserves to be there, yeah, feel free to let me know in the comment section, but don't mindlessly hate the video just because I've said your team is going to do badly. Come on now. Grow up. That's all. Liverpool are going to do shit this year, and I'm a Liverpool fan, okay? I can deal with it. You should deal with it as well. But on the back of that, let me know exactly where you think your club is going to finish this year and why. Give me a paragraph. Go on. Have a go at me in the comments if you want. That's fine. Smack the like button if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have done so. Thank you very much for watching. And, of course, until the next time, goodbye.